Brothers, Eid Mubarak. Hope you are all staying home and staying safe. I am honestly wish to you that stay blessed. Today, I will conduct another virtual class for our students, class 6 English version, Bangladesh and Global Studies. Just if I tell you, in Bandarban there is a flood situation because of heavy rainfall. Okay, so rainfall, drought, flood, earthquake, cyclone, sedimentation. Okay, riverbank erosion. What kind of incident is this? This kind of occurrences, this kind of incidents is closely related with what? Okay, our today's lesson, today's chapter, today's subject matter will be environment of Bangladesh. Earthquake, rainfall, sunlight, water, soil, that means natural calamity, and the topography will be the part of our environment. Okay? So, first of all, we have to discuss about the learning outcomes of this chapter. After studying this chapter, we will be able to explain man's relation with the environment, and then we will be able to explain the causes of environmental problems. What causes are eligible for the environmental problems? So we will be able to explain the causes of environmental problems. Okay, and the next we will be able to explain the impact of environmental problems. What kinds of impact will be faced, will be pressed to our environment, pressed to our social life or our national life for these kind of environmental problems, which are naturally or generally occurs in our society, in our country, in the globe, in the universe. And the next, our action plan for preventing natural problems or the environmental problems. What are our action plan for preventing or the controlling environmental problems? So let's get into our lesson. Dear boys and girls, please, first of all, you have to take your textbook in front of you, and with me, you have to open your textbook, chapter number 9, Environment of Bangladesh. Open the book in this chapter, and you have to compare, keep abreast with my lecture to the textbook. After hearing some parts of my lecture, and pause the video and read the text accordingly. One time or two times or three times, then again start the rest part of the video lesson and again read the text thoroughly, or you can get help from the Bangla version textbook for getting the best outcome. Okay, let's get into our lessons. There are 5 lessons in this chapter. The first lesson is man versus environment. The relation between man, or among the man and the environment. And the next 2 lessons, lesson 2 and 3, environmental problems and its causes and effect. Environmental problems and its causes and effect on human life. Okay, the animal lives, on biodiversity. Okay, and the next 2 lessons are our action plan for preventing and controlling of environmental problems. Our action plan in these 2 lessons, the discussions will be on the topic of our action plan, the national action plan for preventing and controlling the environmental problems. Okay, I am starting my discussion chronologically. Okay, the lesson number 1, man versus environment. The relation between man and environment, the relation among the man, among the members of the society and environment. The basic elements of we are all well known to the basic elements of our environment. What is environment? Environment is the surroundings of our society. It will include trees, water, soil, lighting, okay? That means sunlight. All of the things situated surround of us are included to our environment. This is called environment. Simple, very simple. The basic four elements of environments are soil, water, air and light. That means sunlight. Moonlight also in the moonlit night, okay? But the light of moon is not his light. This is the borrowed light from the sun. We know this the solar system, okay? Okay. Soil is the major elements of environment. From soil we can produce our food for our survival. And then water is our life. What is the alternative to life? Basically, water is the life of living beings, not only for man and trees and all other living beings, animals, cows, sheep, goats, all tigers, tigers, crocodiles, fishes, all of the living creatures, living beings can't live without water. So water is the vital elements of our environment. Air is also the vital element. Without oxygen we can't live. Without carbon dioxide, trees can't live. Like this. Light, yes. The importance of light is no more explanation. It's need not to explain, because without light, trees can't produce food. Trees can't produce energy for itself or for us. Okay? And all of the energy source, sunlight is the major source of energy, electricity production, and the windmill is from the air, electricity production is from the heat. Okay? All of the energy source is primarily or secondarily related with the sunlight. Natural disaster and cultivation, for the interruptions, for the contamination, for the pollution in these four major elements of the environment, for the pollution of these four major elements of environment, natural disaster will occur frequently for the pollution of these four major elements of environment. The changing the topography of soil, okay? The land formations, if the contaminations, if the pollution will occur with soil, natural disaster will be occurred. That means from mine, if we collect natural gases or the crude oil, earthquake will be occurred for the dismissal of the soil formations. Okay, this is the time to go to the next two lessons. Lesson number 2 and 3, environmental problems and its causes and effects. What's the cause of environmental problems and what kind of effects we are facing for these kind of environmental problems we have to discuss. Like this, biodiversity loss. For the environmental problems, like this, biodiversity loss is a kind of environmental problems. This is the recent or the major problems for nowadays. That means from Bandarban, Royal Bengal tigers is decreasing, okay, diminishing day by day. This is the environmental problem, major environmental problem. Each and every creation of our God will be important for our natural situation, natural environment. So if we lost our biodiversity, many kind of animals, many kind of trees, okay, we have to face many difficulties in near future for our upcoming generation. The next is climate change. Climate change, yes, we have already faced the effect of climate change because of creating so much heat of melting the ice in the Arctic areas, also in the Antarctic areas, and the deforestations also We are facing many kind of natural calamities and the weather change. For the changing climates, for the cause of changing climates, we are facing excessive heat, we are facing excessive winter, we are facing excessive rainfall, or we are facing drought without water, without rainfall. Okay, this is cause for the climate change. Climate is related with weather. If climate is changed, our weather will be changed gradually. And the air, water and noise pollution. Air, water and noise pollution. Air is polluted for carbon dioxide, for chlorofluorocarbon, that means CFC. That means acid rain is occur for air pollution. That's why our food production will decrease, and already they have decreased for the water pollution, air pollution to water pollution. Air will be polluted, then water will be polluted by rain. When the toxic ingredients mixed up with the air, this will occur the acid rain, and this will hamper our crop productions, food productions. You are all well known to this circle, I know. If you are not well known about this, the circle of the acid rain with the chemical reaction, that means carbon dioxide plus water. These will be a chemical reactions, and this will make some acid ingredients. This will hamper our environment for the food production. And the next is natural calamities. For the environmental problems, the major name of environmental problem is lightning, that means lightnings and thunderings. And the next is cyclone. Cyclone means tidal wave from the Bay of Bengal we are facing frequently. The Cedar is a very remarkable tidal wave, that means cyclone to our coastal areas. And the cyclone, flood. We are already facing flood in the midst of our country. We are now at this time. Recently, we are facing flood for the environmental change. This is an environmental problem. And earthquake, drought, riverbank erosion, sedimentation. For the decaying soil, soil is fixed, but decay is occurring one place to another. For the decaying soil in our rivers, ponds, there is a sedimentation. The depth of the rivers will be decreased for this problem. Okay, there is a very remarkable problems with this situation. This is called environmental refugee. Who are the environmental refugee? We are well known about the political refugee. Okay, if in a particular country the government or the local inhabitants or the local groups involved in the conflict, some of the people flee from their motherland and take shelter to the another country. This is called the political refugee. Like that, in Bangladesh, we are giving shelter every day. The Rakhine refugee, that means Rohingya refugee in our country, almost 1 million people are taking shelters or have taken shelters to our country. These are called the political refugee. But environmental refugee is like that. When in a particular area drought will be occurred, this is not possible for them to produce food, so they have to flee from this place, or in a floody area, or in the earthquake zone area, or in drought prone area. People have to leave their motherland and they have to take shelter in another country. So it may create many kind of pressure, economic pressure, political pressure, okay, environmental pressure. These kind of people so will take shelter for the environmental hazard, environmental degradation, environmental problems. They are called environmental refugee. But the Rohingya refugee are the political refugee. Mind it? Okay. If our size, the southeast part of Bangladesh, Cox's Bazar, Chittagong, Bhola, Borishal, okay, will be drawn underwater. That time we will be the environmental refugee because of flood, because of the increase of the sea level. That time we will be the environmental refugee. This is called environmental refugee. This is very modern term in today's world, environmental refugee. Okay. And the next two lessons is 4 and 5. Our action plan for prevent and control environmental problems. Our action plan to prevent and control environmental problems. So let's get into these two lessons. Our action plan is preventing trees. If we cut down trees randomly, our environmental problems will be increased rather than decrease, rather than control. Okay, so we will have to prevent our trees and planting more and more trees. Then excreta, we will not release excreta here and there. You know excreta, like cow dung, human being also, we every day, every morning or every evening we will have to go to the washroom for decreasing our or releasing our excreta. If we go to the river bank, go to the jungle for decreasing our excreta, it will pollute our air. This is also the cause of environmental pollution, air pollution. So this is not good to throwing the garbage to the water container, water source, water body, or releasing our excreta here and there. Okay, putting spit on the roads or here and there. This will pollute our environment. And the garbage also cut hills. We should not cut down hills for the purpose of collecting soil. This will not wise or doing for protecting our environment. We should keep our hills. Hills are also the important element for the stability of our environment. And public awareness should increase. We are the educated generation, the modern generations. We have to create the awareness to the people of our country for not cut down trees randomly, for not polluting our environment. This is our duty. Dispose domestic rubbish in proper place. We have to dispose our domestic rubbish to the proper place. That means in the particular dustbin, not here and there. This is our action plan. Stay near nature. We should live near the nature. Not each and every person of the country should live in the city. This is not this is the arrogant situation. So I think everybody wants to live in the city. I think this is not a wise decision. So we should live near the nature. Okay, so we are the inhabitants we are the neighborhood of the nature, because we are the glorious, we are the proud member of Bandarban district. Also Bandarban Cantonment Public School and College, we are closely related with the nature. Hill, okay, trees, the amazing environment. And then preserve the natural world. This is our action plan, included to our action plan, that we should preserve our natural wealth, natural resources like water, hills, trees, okay, natural gas. Yes. Preventive measure. We should take preventive measures to protect our environment, and we should work with joining hands with our governments or with our legislative authority to prevent and protect our environments and to control the natural disaster and the natural problems or the environmental problems. And the last is the ecological balance. We should try to maintain the ecological balance by choosing our food, by choosing our clothes, by choosing the ingredients for building houses. Okay, that's all for my discussion. This is very simple chapter. I think I am remembering you again. You have to take your textbook, and after hearing one lesson, you should pause the video and take your textbooks, go through this textbook and mark by the highlighter the important point for the creative questions, for the knowledge based question, for the explanation based questions. Okay, I am remembering you this kind of learning style again and again, because without attention, without your concentration, proper intention, we will not able to get the best outcome. Okay, now this is time for giving a homework. As usual, there is a creative questions after the lessons, after the chapters. So we should prepare the answer of these lessons and do WhatsApp to my WhatsApp ID, individual WhatsApp ID, not in the group. In the group, you can find me individually and then do WhatsApp to me with this homework. Okay, stay home, stay blessed, stay safe, dear students. Allah Hafiz.